Okay. Good morning. This is a special meeting of Griggs County Commissioner, December 16th, 2024. Everybody, I'll call this meeting to order. Everybody please rise for Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, people. I'll do a roll call. Averill.
Here.
Ellison.
Here.
Zorn.
Here.
Edlin. Here.
And Tramby's here. So we have an approval for the agenda. Make a motion for that. Somebody wants to make a motion for approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Lauren. And that one. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Same side. Motion carried. Okay. We got two things in the agenda today: ARPA funds and the Vanguard contract at the end. So, who wants to take over? You want to talk about the? Why don't you fill Lauren in on the ARPA and the thing real quick?
Okay.
Well, he's kind of in the dark here, so.
Actually, Ben and Jamie have
Yeah. Why don't you fill him in a little bit, guys?
So ARPA money is money that we got from the feds as a result of COVID. It's the American Rescue Plan. So each county has money based on their population and tax base. Griggs County had somewhere around $400,000. The money has to be allocated to projects by then 2024. That's why we're here today. But it doesn't have to be spent until 2026. So if they're continuing projects or something that we have to spend money on in the future, that we know we're gonna have to commit money to, then we commit money. Then we should commit money to that, and it's supposed to be to replace income that was lost during COVID, due to taxes or shortage of revenue. Now, small counties in North Dakota don't quite have the same effect that the large counties in North Dakota or other places have, but it's basically to replace revenue. It can be used to reduce tax burden. If the sheriff's department needs new vehicles, the road department needs something, that sort of thing, where we know we're gonna have that expense between now and the 2026. And today is a day to go through things to commit that money, because it has to be committed by the end of 2024. If it's not, we lose it.
Just to add on to that, I think a good idea for the commission would be to overcommit the funds a little bit, just because of the fact that some of the stuff I think that they're going to go through, there are grant funds available in next year and the year after, as long as we apply for them. There's obviously no guarantee with those grant funds. It could be you get partially, you can get some, you can get none of it, you can get all of it. But I think the idea being that if you overcommit, then if you have to re-obligate those dollars later, you can re-obligate those dollars. The thing about re-obligating funds is it has to be a project that was started or that you guys had planned before the end of 2024. So, for instance, if Amber needs a new vehicle or Amber wrecks her truck in 2026, and you guys say, oh, we can re-obligate those funds for Amber's new truck, that's technically not a project that you guys had talked about prior to the end of 2024, so you can't re-obligate it for that specific project, right? But if we know that in 2026 we're going to get a new sheriff's office vehicle, and that's part of a project list that you have here internally, then you can re-obligate those funds for something like that. So the re-obligation matters to some degree as well.
You would recommend then that you over-obligate, I mean.
That's my recommendation too, is that we don't want to be spot on a dollar and then we decide not to do one of the projects and lose that money. So I would maybe even double up what we have left, because if
you could use it if you need it.
Yeah, and if we don't have the money to do the project, then we just don't do the project. And just this money is supposed to benefit the taxpayers. That's who it's here for. So just remember that.
Well, if Amber's going to drive like that and miss her corners and stuff, we probably need another vehicle.
You might need to get a backup.
So I gotta walk.
the dollar amount that we had of ARPA funds was on this sheet, correct? This 372,000 was the ARPA funds that we had available. And then some of it was allocated already and used. And so actually,
So we got two different monies from COVID. And so we, on this sheet that you're seeing, this is my liability report. And if you look at the one that has, the first one that has a star, that's at 2140 account, and that's labeled ARPA. That's got 100,000 in it. Those funds can be used for anything. Those are, that was a LATCP funds. And so that's, but those ones don't have any restriction on them at all. The other COVID funds, the COVID PH general fund, those are $362,199.33. Those are the ones that we are talking about right now that have to be obligated by the end of the year and spent by 2026. Those ones have the requirements, or, you know, some requirements, but, you know, they're pretty open. So we do have those as well.
yeah, so that $100,000, just to echo Sam, we're not, the goal today is to leave that alone because we don't need to obligate that one. It's the 362,199.33.
But in the past, in one of your prior meetings, we did
Correct.
obligate those ARPA funds for CPT. I think that you should rescind that motion and then use the what we have COVID ARPA funds, this 362,000, because that's a perfect project to use those funds for. So
Okay, so right off the back, I'm going to make a motion to use the ARPA funds to pay for the 65,000 CPT software. So that will come off the 362,199.33.
And that's for the 48,000.
That's for the 65,000
Oh
for
yeah,
the
because
CPT.
we did another year on top of that and stuff like that too. Okay.
Yep. So that way we're not using that $100,000 that doesn't need to be designated. We're gonna use the money that needs to be spent or allocated by 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, because we already committed to it already,
Yep,
to that project, so.
yep.
Okay,
Where did the
go ahead, Rod.
the 207,000 come in? I'm kind of confused on that because last meeting we were talking like 206, 207,000.
yep. So that is the funds after. Okay. Get this spreadsheet up here. So that is the 206,000 is after you guys purchased the Vanguard software. If we put the 65,000 of CPT, and then you guys offset the 2025 budget with 33,590.21. So then that gives you a final amount of the 206,768.87.
But we
That's not including the other 100,000, right?
correct.
No.
So we need to move that 65,000 from that LARPA funds or LARPA funds,
LATCF.
LATCF funds, to say it's gonna be used with the ARPA funds.
Okay.
So that's what my motion was.
Okay, I have a table, or a motion from Steph for that. Do we have a second?
And this is so we can use these funds to pay for this Vanguard software, correct?
Oh, this was just the
CPT.
CPT software.
So mine.
Oh, yeah.
On
okay.
hers.
Yep. I'll second that then.
Okay, second by Josh. Any discussion, guys, on this one? Any more discussion?
We should explain
Go-
what
yeah, go ahead.
CPT is.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a software, it's called Dakota Programs, and they are actually, it's ran by two gentlemen. They are actually retiring and no longer going to be servicing that software, so we had to get a new software. And that's going to be done at the end of 2025. So we went with a new company called CPT, Counties Providing Technology. And so then that's going to be our new software starting. We are going to be converting over the general ledger and our payroll starting January 1st.
Huge favor. Is there any way we can put the Excel spreadsheet up on the computer so we can all see like a running tally, what we've designated to have it run down? That would be really cool. We can just make a new spreadsheet too if you want, or whatever, but. Okay.
Okay. Any more discussion, guys? Any more discussion? Okay, last time. Okay, I'll do Lauren, on this, we always do anything that involves money, we have to do a roll call voice vote on money-wise. Anything else is just normal yea and nay, but anything vote in this is. So I'll do this is Avriel.
Aye.
Ellison.
Yes.
Zorn.
Aye.
Edlin.
Aye.
And Tremby votes aye. So, motion carried.
Okay, so that brings our total
Yep.
for the ARPA funds to 206, 768.87. So should we look at the project lists then and do a comparison, pick things out to help move that down?
We call this the wish list.
That one is from Travis.
Here.
I'm not sure. What did you say that one was?
You asked for getting the cameras and the door access control system down together for the, and then we're splitting off. Some of this is going to go for a North Dakota courtroom facility grant.
Correct.
So you want me to remove CPT from this?
Nope, that's where it should be now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, for the door access and camera system, total for that project is 182,539. Went through and we, out of the 44 doors that'll be controlled, we earmarked 20 of those that would be considered part of the court system. So we use that percentage in to get Griggs share and then the court share. One thing I did forget to do on this sheet that I updated here, the courtroom facility grant is a 75-25% grant. So state would pay 75%, Griggs would take up the 25%. So of the court share of 65,000, 75% of that would be the 49. So then at the end there I had the Griggs grant total. So out of the 182,539, Griggs County would be 124,561, and then we look at getting 57,977 from the state if it is approved from them. We still have to submit that to them. They go through the review process and make that determination if they're going to fund that or not. Then, but
I just want to clarify something. I heard over the weekend from some of the people out in the citizens that I was asked, what is up with this $700,000 security system in the bill? I was like, well, I don't know. You tell me. So just to clarify there on record, so if people are listening, there is no $700,000 security system quote out there. But yeah, I was asked about that this weekend.
So it would be, the 178 or 182, but we could get 50-some thousand back from
yeah,
the state.
If the state approves the whole thing, they would then match 75% of it, and we would get 57,977 back for that, and our responsibility would be the 124,561 out of the total 182,539.
And that includes the door access and the camera system.
And the camera system, yeah. So the camera system we went through, out of the 26 cameras, we designate 8 of them would be courtroom purposes for that. So, and that's what we do when we submit that to the board, and we'll show them, what doors we're doing, what cameras we're doing, so they will review that and make the determination if they see fit for that. So
I was telling them earlier, we went to the door access system at work, and it is absolutely fabulous. The security purposes of it, I can lock the whole building down with a click from anywhere. I can tally who goes into a room, who comes out of a room. If somebody leaves the facility, I can just deactivate their badge. I don't have to rekey everything, because back in the day, if somebody loses a key or somebody leaves the facility and takes the key with them and no longer employed, I had to get whole new locks and everything. So this was a great upgrade for the facility. We did it back in 2021 with COVID funds. back then. Because security
And
was.
you can set like time designations on that to lock
Yes,
and unlock.
Correct. Yeah, right now employees have to unlock doors, lock doors. We're all human. Stuff does get forgot sometimes. It happens. This would help be scheduled so the doors automatically open at 8, close at 4:30.
Just like the school.
Yeah, yeah. The doors will all stay the same. It's just the latches or the strikers get replaced in there. Then you have a fob for stuff. So, and then this is on it all goes back to the server room. So that's on a battery backup for power, and then it's also on the generator. So the likelihood of losing access is highly unlikely for that. So we'd have to have a major issue with power to lose that, but. What we do too is like the sheriff's office will still have a master key physical to be able to, in case of worst case scenario.
But that way, if there's something going on or whatever, and she needs emergency lock down the facility.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The sheriff's department will be able to look at if the door is propped open. We can have door prop alarms. We can configure all this based on how the sheriff's department security aspect of that needs to be configured. But it gives the ability to easily look at current status, which doors are propped open. Especially exterior doors. After 5 o'clock, you can say like if the door's propped more than 10 minutes, send an alarm to whomever kind of thing. So allows for a lot more control for seeing what is going on, and then a lot easier just to be able to move in and out of doors too. Key getting out can be cumbersome, and some of employees have to be issued 3 or 4 keys depending on which buildings or rooms are going in between for stuff. Now they just have one for that.
And you can. So that too, you can designate those keys where they have limited access too, correct?
Yep, correct. So we could say that key only opens the front door and then there are 2 office doors and that's it. Or say now they're going to be working temporary for a month in here, we could just add that door to them for temporary and then remove it when it's done. So it's real easy to be making changes. We can issue temporary keys to, say, law enforcement, highway patrol needs to be working for a project here for a while. We can issue keys to them for temporary access for the building if needed, or any group, maintenance groups too. So we have maintenance coming in. We can issue them a fob that gives you access to the building for however many weeks we need to do for stuff. So
We actually gave it to our fire department in a net up because if something happens and a fire alarm goes off, our doors automatically all lock at 7 o'clock at night. So how are they supposed to get in if there's a fire call? And so they all have access fobs to be able to get into the building. That was nice because otherwise you have to get a hold of somebody to get a key to be able to come up here, or it was good safety precaution.
And then too, it'll be a designated access fob where, let's say you give a contractor a key, they come in, but let's say they come in after 7 at night for no reason, something turns up missing, you'll know, right?
yeah, correct. Because we have we issue per ID then. So this is issued to Travis. Travis entered the building at 9:02 p.m. on the 15th. What were you doing there? I was working on this. You have records of all coming and going for stuff then too. So, and you can also limit time too. So you say like if that contractor's not allowed to come in after 8 o'clock or 4:30, say, or a certain time or weekends, you can limit all that stuff too. So it opens up a lot of possibilities on how we want to make sure we're controlling access to the building and then movement within the building too. Being able to have the interior doors secured for stuff too in case of an emergency, but the employees being able to readily move about, for stuff. So, and there are also badges, ID badges.
And then
That's one thing
this is kind of like what she was saying. This will work with our fire alarm system. Everything else, it all intertwines. It's all secured, one network.
Yep.
And
Yep.
okay.
Yeah,
How
the company
easy
that
is it to switch those, like automatic door alarms? Like if we go over 4:30 in one of the commissioner rooms, or commissioner meetings, I have to have the doors unlocked. How easy is that just to switch it to stay open? Very.
Yeah, the same system is in Steele County. So
Perfect.
What can I ask you, Ben? What kind of system you got in Steele County, Ben?
We go through
Electro Watchman.
It's called the cameras are Vigilon, but it's technically through Motorola. I can pull it up here and show you guys what it looks like, but it's slick, it's easy.
Well, I know when I worked for my previous employer there, when we did the lights, they give us badges, and that was kind of slick. It sucks sometimes, like if you did forget your badge, you had to call your coworker, hey, come let me in or whatever else, but it was still nice.
One thing we did too with with this quote too, we have the digital add-on feature.
For this.
What that allows you to do is you actually send credentials to people's phones. So instead of actually having a badge, you can actually send it to their phone. And it works just like a badge. And so like for Steele County, I don't need a card, I just have my phone. So it's a lot more convenient because you don't leave the house with a phone. You know, you might forget your ID, but you're probably not gonna forget your phone. So
Especially if you're not using it every day.
Yep.
So this is what you log in when you see like who you guys are talking about, who enters
Enters the building,
comes
sure.
in. So you can see like you know, our, that's me logging in, but our tax director, for instance, came in this morning at 9:12. He came in through the employee door, which is what we have labeled. This is his token number or his badge number. So we can go into the different identities. We can search for everybody. We can search by last name. So if we're gonna yell at Travis for something, because we like to yell at Travis.
How long does that, okay, his history of him in and out, how long is that staying in that file?
We can go back like 6 months. It's however long we have available on our
Cloud.
on our recording and
Okay.
our cloud stuff. I can go back 6 months on this, and then I have to get Travis to restore the backups from previous to that. So
But there is some kind of backup. So the only reason why is like if let's say there was you guys were investigating a crime, sometimes I know you got to go back quite a ways, so it'd be nice to.
there's also reporting and stuff that you can do in here with that. So and this goes back to the time that you started. So if you had this we've had this for 2 years now, this full system. So if we wanted to go back 2 full years, I can go back in the reporting side of it. But as far as like seeing it specifically on this page, I can go back to, I don't know how long was that, let me go back to, but. Yeah, I can only go back 6 months. So if I wanted to do something with Travis, revoke or give him roles or whatever, this is how we would do it here. This is what he has access to, so he's an admin for us because he needs to be able to do a lot of different things. The 2 different badges that he has. So this top one here is his phone. This bottom one is an actual physical card. What exactly he has access to. So you can set those for anybody.
And those are customizable names, so
Mhm.
we'll name the doors internally as far as what we
then-
understand.
And then when he tells me he's working and I can yell at him that he's not, I can see exactly when he was last in, specifically him, if I was curious about something.
And then the camera, so I don't know how the cameras, do they go into like are they recording all the time and then a loop system? Or is it when somebody walks in and out or motion, they start recording?
So you can configure them to do either way. My recommendation is always do 24/7 recording at the highest resolution.
What you're watching for that?
No, we got different
Okay.
for that one, but it's the motion trigger is nice in many ways, but I've seen situations with other companies where it might miss a minute beforehand, and then you're looking at a low resolution until that trigger hits, and then so it's always nicer to do 24/7. So the difference then is you got to look at, well, how many days do you want to store data
Correct.
for? And that's what we look at, number of cameras, number of days you want to store for, and that's how many hard drives you get for installing that then. The system we price out here does have AI event tagging. So we can set that up and say, when you see a person and you're confident 75% it's a person, tag that in the event that I saw a person on this camera at this time. So the nice thing about that, if you ever had to scrub through, a week worth of camera security footage, it's really tedious to go through that many hours looking at everything. But what we can do then is go over and say, I'm looking for a person. So show me only events with people. It'll show short 2-second clips like, oh, that's the one I'm looking at. Get that, then it'll go back and he can go forward and back based on that then. So it helps to search for stuff as well then. So we can tag vehicles and all kinds of other items too.
Now, how many cameras, you said what, 28 cameras?
26 I believe is what we did for the building here.
So what all cameras were they gonna be at?
Mainly, so it's going to be exterior and then mainly on public hallways. We do not have them in the actual offices. There's a security concern with that, being recording confidential information.
That's understandable.
So forth.
But I mean, still like, there any type of access to those offices?
Every door, you know, every entrance to, you know, so all the hallways are covered, all the entrances are covered for that. I think we do have one in here for, you know, since it's a public area, considered for that.
And then the courtroom, but that's a different designated system, because that's different. I know
Yeah, so the
that.
courtroom we have to do with the system too, based on the court rules, the camera that's put into this system, so if they actually have a jury trial, we have to actually come in here and physically disconnect the camera. and remove
Correct.
it
You can't
for
see the
that.
jury.
Yeah, so that way it ensures that no recordings are taking place. So that's what we were talking, when we were talking about the court system.
I mean, they could record the hearings or something like that.
The court system records their own stuff. That's
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They got their own designated deal
Yeah,
for it.
our camera, the cameras would have no audio.
Okay.
They wouldn't have audio for, they're just.
Yeah. And then this camera here would be set up where it would be easily physically removed as far as.
Okay.
Because we can't have that.
I just want to make sure, because I know when it comes to like courtrooms, facilities, all that, they got their own designated rules and
Totally
everything.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep,
So-
and they're very specific of where we can put the cameras, and, again, there can't be audio ads.
We only have one audio one when we're in Steele County, and that's our sheriff's office interview room where they bring people to interview. That's the only one that has actual audio.
So if we wanted to add, let's say, this whole system to our tally of dollar amounts,
That'd be the 182.5.
we would add the 180, it'd be the smart to add the 182,539. That way,
If we do get that grant.
if we do get that grant, we'll have to add more to it, add for sure, you know,
And
another.
that's where you would have then money available to then reallocate that Ben
Okay.
was talking about, so. I mean, the hope is we get the grant, and that's what, you know, we'll try, you know, maybe there's another grant too we don't know about yet.
Was
Right.
the DES going to apply for a grant? Wasn't there something? Jamie, was there a grant that you could, or you were
That's the
going to apply for?
Homeland Security grants.
And there was one of it, or there was none?
After April, there will be.
So our best, so back to my question, we could add the 182, but we should probably make sure we add enough onto it, because there's potentially two one for sure, but two grants that could possibly help pay for that. So we want to make sure we add enough other expenses on to cover,
Other projects. that
Other projects?
I
that
would
we
say
could potentially
100%
allocate.
of that, you should have another project, just in case.
make sure you add another project that's another $100,000 worth in case we get enough grant money to cover
Yeah.
almost all of the whole.
Because we will
Project,
know,
okay.
I have to have the grant postmarked by December 31st, and the court facilities committee meets the end of January, so I usually find out just the very tail end of January, early February, if
Okay.
we have won that grant. So.
Are we making motions to add things to the list, or are we just saying?
I
add
think
things
we're
to the list?
just trying to get information on this, and then we can make a decision from there, or make a motion from there.
Does it come off the COVID money then?
Yeah, it'd come off that
Yeah, that's-
206. But even then, we'd have to add another, that much more because of potential grants to it.
You don't need to do that till next year, right?
You have to have all of your projects
Listed today.
Earmarked.
by now.
So we
Earmarked.
have to decide today. We don't have to spend it till next year. But we don't have to spend it till 26, but we have to decide by.
We have to allocate the money towards the projects.
Yeah, but that 182,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you're gonna wanna over allocate
Well,
because
that's
if we
fine,
have
yeah, I
grant funds.
understand that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to add that to the list of projects for ARPA funds. Should I-
What would be the dollar amount though? That's the question. Is it that full 182?
Yeah, because then, so say we did get that then you would have, since you allocate 182,000, you would then have that 55,000 that the state's matching to then reallocate to a different project. That's
But
on
we
your
have
guys'
to
list then.
over allocate,
Well,
because if we
that-
don't have those other projects on this list, then we can't say that we can reallocate those funds to this other project.
But that's what I mean. Do we allocate more than that
Yes.
108? Okay, what would be a proper?
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Well, how much, she's asking.
Do we just round it up to 190 and just be simple numbers for that, I guess?
Well, that's what I want to make sure, because I don't want to under and I don't want to over.
Yeah.
Because I know there's
Okay.
other departments that need some stuff, so it'd be nice to at least.
Well, that's where
leave
the, like, when we actually do start going forward with the projects, we'll get you exact numbers then. So say you need to allocate 190.
Don't you think we should look at, see what other projects are before
Correct.
we allocate the money?
Correct, Al.
Okay.
Correct, Rod. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not
No.
intended to spend it.
No, it's
We
just.
just
That was my next
list the
question for you,
project, here's a
Rod.
dollar value, here's a project, and then next year or the year after, you guys can go on.
And
say, hey, we
that's
want
where
to do
kind of I was
project.
getting to his point at the same time. It's like, okay, if we designate all this money to this one, then it's not, right for the others. We should see what other ones.
Do we
got,
actually
too.
have to report the actual dollar value?
When you do the reporting, you're gonna wind up reporting the full dollar amount that was obligated. You don't have to specify the specifics.
Okay.
When you, as far as dollar amounts go, when you go into the reporting though, you're gonna have to specify specific projects. So like for instance, if you're gonna obligate these funds to like security project, which is fine, that's the thing you can do. When you do the reporting, it's gonna have to be with that MOU that Jamie has, and then there's going to be a specific dollar amount in there, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's, when you come back, so if, for instance, you get fully funded by the courtroom security grant, Homeland Security comes through and they say, we're gonna fully fund the rest of the project for you guys. So that 182,000, 190,000, whatever it is, winds up being taken off of your list. It's good to have, and this is what we were talking about last time, it's really good to have a list internally like this to be able to go back and say, okay, we can cross that off the list now because that was obligated, that was taken care of by other sources. Now we have that money available to re-obligate. So what you're going to report to the feds is going to be those MOUs. So it's going to be, if it's safety and security, it's going to be safety and security for this amount of money. It's going to be whatever for this amount of money, whatever project for this amount of money. Then if those get funded elsewhere, or if you're able to fund those elsewhere, you're going to be able to come back to your internal list and say, remember, we put this on our list. We had this running total of what we were going to do with it. Now we can go back to this next project, or this next project, or this next project. So yes and no to answer your question.
My question on that, then, let's say we get money back, and we're gonna reallocate those funds. Do we have a time limit on that?
You have
It's
to.
still got to be by 2026 then.
Right,
or-
yep. So
Okay.
it's the problem that a lot of counties are having, and you're in the same boat as every other county, and Trail and Steel are going through the same process right now too. Is how do you forward think how you're going to spend that money, right? Because it's really easy to say we're going to wait for a project to come up and then we're just going to fund it from there with whatever we got, right? That's very easy to do. That's usually what we do. It's really hard to think forward a little bit and say, okay, how is this going to meet this criteria, benefit these things, or whatever criteria we set in place? How is this going to accomplish that moving forward? And so that's why my recommendation last time was to have a running list internally. So I wouldn't submit this list to the feds. I would just submit those MOUs or whatever you guys decisions you make to obligate those funds to. But it's really good to have this list internally so that if you do have to come back and re-obligate, you just have to have that money spent by the end of 2026 moving forward. That's it.
So on those MOUs, it's like saying that we are going to put 190,000 towards security, and then that gets funded. Do we have to then use those funds, reallocate those funds for something else in security?
No, you could, as long as you have
Just
a
as long as
project-
it's on this list.
Yeah, as long as you have an internal project sheet, then you can come back and reobligate those funds to an internal project that you had started before the end of 2024.
That's what my idea was, but then I was,
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Okay,
Does this
so
come
next
off of the
item then.
Just come off of the COVID funds or that other?
That other, the COVID funds. On your sheet, it says COVID
Yeah,
funds.
that's-
Yep.
Okay.
It might be good to think of too of what you're gonna obligate the funds for, and then what you're actually gonna spend the money on. You know what I mean? I think that might be a better way to try to view it too, and to separate in your guys' heads a little bit. Like, we're gonna obligate, if you're gonna obligate for the doors and access, we're gonna obligate 190,000, but our intent is not to spend 190,000. Our intent maybe is to only spend 70,000 or whatever the dollar amount is on it, because we're expecting the grants to come through, right? Whereas, another project might come up and you say, we are fully intending on spending that money for that specific thing. So then that kind of prioritizes your projects for you a little bit, of where we know we're gonna spend this money, right? But and we know we're gonna spend that money in the next couple of months or the next year or whatever the case is, versus we're gonna obligate for the rest of this for this project and just kind of hope it comes through type of thing.
Well, that'd be nice to kind of see what all departments need and just kind of go down a list and figure out what everybody needs to.
That's what, you have the list?
Well, no, but,
That one.
yeah.
Rod, what do you think? What's your thoughts?
Well, a question I have, and maybe that was spoke on earlier and I didn't hear you, but like now, for example, with what we got set aside for the sheriff's vehicle,
Correct.
and then there's a difference there, and then we asked about going up to a 3/4 ton, which I'm sure is going to add 8,000 to 10,000 more to the price. So, there's roughly, I'm just ballparking another 30,000 more than what we had budgeted. Can we use $30,000, roughly, to pay the difference of that pickup?
Yes.
And then there's a blade. Wayne's got a blade that you're kind of down there that you're looking at, for 20,000. Is that something we could buy with it?
Yes.
We
Okay.
got both ARPA and COVID, right, that we can use. I mean, I know we don't want to use gold.
Just ARPA.
Oh, we're just.
Not the, well,
Yes,
that's
you
LA.
can. Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
LTA,
Yep.
yeah. But Wayne still has funds in his budget, 2024 budget
Oh, okay.
in itself that he could use to purchase some of this equipment that he needs now.
Okay.
He's got at least 200,000 in his account, his 2024 budget.
Okay.
But that money is not allocated to buy anything.
But you can.
Because it's just for the road department budget, it's not allocated to improve.
Well, that budget can be,
Well, it's allocated to stuff, but not everything is gonna be spent. When you make a budget out, you're guessing what you're gonna spend. You're guessing on your income. The 30 mils or 20 mils, plus highway distribution, income from townships. It's all a crystal ball. You don't know exactly if your revenue is gonna meet your expenses or not. So, we've always been careful to try to keep a reserve. In case something comes up that you don't have funding for, and you can't just come up with $1 million overnight.
Mm-hmm.
If something broke down or whatever, trucks don't quit. So it's nice to have a reserve there.
I think it's really important to have a reserve. We built in the last, 10, 12 years, we've built up 1.4, and that sounds like a lot of money, but we have a spring of 1997 again, and Warshow gravel and roads and culverts. 1.4 wouldn't last very long at all.
well, that's where the 923,000 would come from the Prairie Dog Fund to fix those roads, right?
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
You could, but we've got that County Road 8 that needs to be
Looked at hard.
fixed.
So I mean, it's one of those things, you have money there, but you don't want to tap into it unless you have.
Well,
to tap
I
into it.
can't.
Where does that money go,
without your
Wayne, when you
Yeah.
don't use it at
But
the end
that's
of the
what I'm
year?
saying, you don't want to mess with it unless you absolutely have to type of deal. Unless you feel it's necessary type of deal, correct?
I can't just write a check.
No, but what I'm saying is you wanna, if you feel it's necessary to go into it and spend the money, you come to us and say, hey, this is, I feel it's necessary.
I would have to.
Yeah.
And that's what he's done before.
So in the past, if you haven't spent,
I didn't hear you. What's that?
Can I get a reserve then?
You start
What
budgeting
if something
for it.
happens? So I don't got nothing.
In the past, what's been happening is that
so in the past, what
Oh, yeah, some-
you guys have done for like the budgeting purpose is whatever the carryover is within the road department, you guys have transferred that to the RSP, which is Road Special Projects Fund. And then that money has been used for our portion of the projects, and you do need to have a project specifically for this. We can't just have a rainy day fund. We really need to get a project for that. And I had spoken to Wayne, and Wayne had said that County Road 8 would be a perfect project for that, so. And then that's at the 1.3 million right now.
What is the road HB 1505 for 547,000? What is that one?
1505.
That was, I think it was COVID funds through the legislature, I believe.
What is that for, designated to?
Right off the top of my head, I don't know what it's designated for. Because the project that we are gonna do is gonna, the estimate was like $1.8 million to do that County Road 8. So, of course, we don't know until the bids are let.
So we got $2.9 million in the road department.
Yeah,
If
that
I
didn't-
add the prairie
that
dog
didn't come
funds,
overnight, you know, that took years to accumulate that.
Yeah.
And I believe some of those funds were way back when there was a special fund coming into the county to improve roads.
Okay.
Highway distribution.
and we have more prairie dog funds
Or
coming in
fund
too,
number.
right?
Could've been-
Probably another
So
800,000.
where do my extra funds go at the end of the year?
You're within the general fund, so they go in, you don't
So I
get
don't
to,
get to keep them?
no. Except,
Interesting.
except for your vehicle one, that's on an outside one,
That's
so
all-
then that
yep.
builds.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, you're just like me and,
All the other departments.
huh?
All the other
Well,
departments.
not all the other departments, but
Departments.
within the general fund, so me, you, Maddie, the
Can we
recorder.
change that so I can save a reserve? Oh, we can?
No,
You
you're-
can only have a reserve
you're
for
only in this.
designated to like your vehicle. Here's my vehicle reserve.
So there is a reserve within the general fund, but
Mhm.
not specifically for you.
So I can't save up funds for a vehicle?
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah, for a
Yes, you
vehicle,
can.
yes.
You can for the vehicle.
We have money set aside that we allocate every time we do a budget. We put so much in
Yep.
for a vehicle. So that's all figured in when we do the budget every year.
What's County Road 8?
The road to McHenry.
McHenry,
Binford, McHenry.
as we know, it's been
I
a,
think Wayne's applying again to get funding for it. First fund of application was denied.
We're reapplying for the grant, and there is also a safety grant that has to be in by the end of December. And Paul from JLJ brought this up.
Continue.
Might be able to widen it out, could make it safer, and maybe we can get it paved with that. But it's I think it's a different cost share, like 40-60 to do that. And it's very competitive, that money. Big cities, counties, and everybody competes for that.
How much prairie dog funds are we getting this year? Or for 2025?
800 and some thousand.
800,000?
Yeah. And I talked to Upper Great Plains Transportation about why did they drop us down from 923. They said possibly because somebody else's need was greater, some other county. This is the explanation.
Okay.
Prairie dog funds were very specific on, if you don't use it or allocate it to a project, you lose it, basically. And that was one of the, gives that we had to give to the legislature in order to get prairie dog funding to come through, so that's,
And I did designate that for that County Road 8 project.
yeah, it comes back to, you know, the allocation stuff and, you know, if you sit on the funds for a long time, the legislature doesn't look kindly on some of that stuff. It's again, one of the gives that we had to give when we were doing the prairie dog things, so it's,
they want to,
they want the money spent.
they want to spend, correct. Is there any time limit on that?
Not really, but kinda. It's one of those where you get if the buckets fill, you get the money every 2 years.
Mhm.
You know, every
Yep.
or at the middle of session. But there's never been a, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's been a, if you don't use it and obligate it, we'll still give you the money, but we're gonna lessen what that is every time, type of thing. So if you don't tell us in the reporting that you have a specific project and a date to start it and all that stuff, you know, we're just gonna say, okay, well, you didn't really need that money, so we're gonna start lessening and that's it deals with reporting, it deals with what they see on the treasurer's side, it deals with what they see on Upper Big Plains. I don't know, Wayne would have a better idea.
I did fill that out in
July.
Oh, I suppose, and that was before the county road was,
County Road 8 was.
yeah, so that was before then, so I suppose what you designated it then was not County Road 8.
Put County Road 8
Did
down
ours
as
get
designation for
lessened?
that. Those bonds, it's gotta be reported every
Lessened?
year.
Reduced. So we don't know.
Yeah, ours is reduced, we're down,
What do you think is this year? Is it 800,000 you
Oh,
thought,
we
Wayne?
did get reduced because we
Yeah.
didn't use it.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
We allocated, but it hasn't been spent yet, so they used
Yeah.
it on us.
So with the prairie dog funds, we think the 923 plus the 800, you know, that's, and then the 1.4 million that's already in there. 1469032.
1505 has to be spent by the end of 2026. Those funds, by the way. That was a requirement. That's part of the greater ARPA conversation, the House Bill $1505.
Yeah.
That was, it was money that came down from that through the state and through DOT. And then they allocated it to the counties based on needs and projects and whatever else. But that held the same requirements that it has to be spent by the end of 2026.
And what can that be used on? Does it say?
Roads and bridges.
Roads and
Yeah.
bridges?
Infrastructure.
Not equipment?
No, that was specifically not
Yeah,
for equipment.
that's right.
That and prairie dogs
Okay.
were specifically not for equipment.
Okay.
So let's keep this going a little bit. What else? Let's look at some of these other things on the list here, guys. You know.
Well, one other thing I was going to add.
Go ahead, Ron.
Or one other thing I was going to add is, Wayne hasn't even asked, like I said, the sheriff's vehicle and then the blade. What the blade is a two-way blade, hydraulically run blade. Right now, one of the trucks has only got a fixed blade. It only goes one direction. So if you want to go, if you plow once, you got to go up, turn around, come back, and then hit it again, because you can't just back up and turn your blade to go the other direction. I can definitely see where that would be a problem. But the other, something else that, if we're you want to keep fixing, up our roads and keep them graveled and stuff. One of the, if you go down and look at, Tranby, I'm sure you've been down there and seen them. Their belly dumps, they look like they've been a welding project for the, like something that Mike Stahl had back when they had the one trailer, Wayne can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the one trailer turns 50 years old in 2025. I mean, they're running ancient equipment down there.
Yep.
I think if we're going to, we could definitely upgrade some equipment that keeps our roads and our buses and our people coming to work. It would be a good place to spend some money.
No, I agree with you, Rod, on that too. We need some updating on down the county end of it too. I know.
That the one trailer there, they've guys do good work of keeping it up. They got some guys there that are really good welders, but I mean, there's patch upon patch, fixing, cracking. The mainframe of that one trailer has been, cracked several times and patched up. So when you're running a 50-year-old trailer, of course, in the belly dumps, the clam gates, they don't open and close. You try and mesh and gravel when you spread it. It's about impossible to do. Just because the cylinders, they just plain wear out. Well, the clams are so worn that they can't even haul chip seal with it because it just runs right out.
That's right.
But Wayne does have money in his budget right now that we can use to upgrade some of these items.
He does, but that's, like you said, that's his reserve.
That's his current budget. That's not reserve. That's his current budget.
Oops.
Is it your current reserve, or is that's reserve part of your current budget?
No, it's just budget.
Oh, they're separated.
Oh, they're separated?
The reserve is the 1.4 million is his reserve account.
Oh, timeout.
You just time out.
Hang on a
Rod,
second.
can you hold on 1 second?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sam's in time.
Yeah, Sam had to go take a call here.
We'll take a.
Let's
short
take
recess.
let's take a short recess.
That
Oh,
too.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Are you
sorry. I'm sorry. It was just school calling. We're good.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
Thought maybe I had a sick kid. I'm sorry. Just wanting my money.
That doesn't happen, does it? Anyway, so no, I now we have this battle between on what's in the budget and what for COVID funds. I know the county.
Right.
The county. Nothing's been done for the last 10 years or so with the county shop. Not a lot of stuff's been done. We have 3 blades there and a payloader, and that's the good stuff of it, you know. So
Right.
we need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the blades are something that's been on a lease, and they've been so they're but you go down and look at the rest of the equipment, and like I said, I mean,
No, I agree with you, Rod. Just that's the. I'm just telling you what's going on down there, you know.
Yep.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's really important that we keep growing that 1.4. Because when we hear these bridge prices, roads and bridges, these estimates coming from these engineers, we know how quickly money. It sounds like a lot of money, but it's not even a drop in the bucket.
Comes the road, yeah, roads are expensive. Whether it's just gravel maintain or just putting a new slab down, it's costly regardless. So
So my budget was $1,142,555. I have remaining $397,000.
Before what you
That's
have left?
the end of
Yeah.
the month.
And I've got $100,000, almost $100,000 worth of gravel to be paying for at the end of the year, plus whatever other expenses. So the budget itself is a fictitious number. That doesn't mean,
That's not fictitious at all.
well, the budget says 1,142,000, but we've spent 745,278.
That's right. So it's your bottom line as of November 30th was 397.
Yep,
So you need to include December's current expenses. Take that down.
yep, and be about
So
less
by the
than 200,000.
right. So you still have $200,000 in your account. So if you needed to buy equipment such as a blade, I feel as though that we could be able to use your current budget to purchase that piece of equipment.
But then we don't continue to grow the.
We have-
I think it sounds
we have to be
like
careful.
security would be.
We have to be careful with growing that
than
general fund
securing
too far because
funds.
we're not supposed to just be hoarding and allocating and saving tax dollars without a designated project to it already. We just can't, because every year we take all tax dollars. We take 30 mil, 30 mil, 30 mil. We can't just not use that money and then put it into another account to be able to take another 30 mil.
But then use other money to make up for that. I don't think
Right, and then use
taxpayers should be
other
very-
funds to make up for it because we don't want to spend the current tax dollar mills that we already took. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So we have to be careful with how much money we put away in the savings, which is great. We need to put some away to designated apart for matching projects, but we have to be careful with it, especially now that we have, 923,000 of prairie dog funds plus another 800,000 prairie dog funds plus another $547,000 that were COVID funds to the road department on top of the 1.4 million. So we have to be careful with how much money we have set aside with the road. But
But that sounds like a tremendous amount of money. But if we ended up doing something on County Road 8 out there, it wouldn't even come close.
what is that 923,000 designated to right now?
Nothing right now.
County Road 8.
Is it on there?
Is that what you told the state?
I told state
In
that?
July was County
Okay.
Road 8?
Okay.
And how much is the total dollar amount for the County Road 8 to be finished?
Well, the estimate was like 1.4 million or something like that.
So it's 1.4 million?
That was the estimate, but we don't know. We haven't got a bid on it.
Okay.
Just engineer's estimate.
we're basically waiting on bids on that one.
Well, we haven't
So
gone
if we've
forward
had
with
this money,
Oh.
it's not
money
bad,
for
why
it
haven't we done it?
to do it.
Or are we just gonna say, well, because we're saving, and then save taxpayers money and not use it? I wouldn't be very happy. And then your road is crap, but yet you say you're saving for roads. But you can't drive on the road. Just throwing that out there.
If you're gonna pave 1 mile of road, it's over $1 million now.
Yeah, it is.
I get that, but this road has been
So-
bad for how long, but we say we're saving for roads, you still
Since
can't drive on the
2020.
road, but we're still hoarding
2020.
taxpayer money.
Yeah. So we got 2.2 million, 2.2 million in funds that are designated to bridge and road. So that's good. With the prairie dog funds, that's 800,000 that's coming.
Roughly.
You know, with the 923 and that 547. So we actually technically, without your grant, we do have enough funds to fix County Road 8 with the 2.2 million. If it's 1.4.
It's up to you.
But then we would be broke again.
No, because we haven't touched that 1.4 million that's sitting there.
Okay.
This is without touching that 1.4 million that's been put away every year. This is
Okay.
just touching the prairie dog funds and the COVID funds that Wayne received.
But, and that's great because I still worry about, if we have a hard spring and roads and culverts are washed out, it just won't go. I mean, it sounds like a tremendous amount of money, but it's not.
No.
Not when it comes to road repair.
The only question is how much longer can we sit on this money?
Right.
And I'm not saying we gotta spend your money, I'm just saying how much longer can we sit on this before we get
It's
nailed
not
for it?
my money, it's your money.
Yeah.
The
If you
500,
wanna spend it, you go ahead and spend it.
the 547,000 has to be used by end of 26, according to Ben.
Right.
So, anyways, the moral of my story is I'd like to see his current funds pay for equipment that he can buy right this very minute, and then use the savings monies to the roads that he needs to have, and use the ARPA funds for areas that, that don't currently have funding to be able to use. We're tapping into ARPA funds to buy equipment that Wayne already has money for.
I have a question for Samantha. So my budget is 1,400,000 and some odd thousand.
Yep.
Where do those funds come from?
Taxpayers.
Your budget?
Yeah.
It's on the mill.
On the 20 mills.
That would
How many
be
mills do we get?
22.
And how much is that worth?
You didn't get the full 30 for next year.
400,000? 22,000 times 20 mills, 440.
I don't have those figures right now in front of me.
So then the rest of
hold
the
on.
funds have to come from somewhere else.
Hold on, let me see. Sheet.
I think you pulled enough money to cover your budget for next year. The 2020
We
mills,
took it out of the reserve.
for the mills that you have,
We get
So you're gonna get 22.41 mils next year, which is gonna equal out to $535,499.90.
that's his budget to use next year.
Levy funds,
Levy
not
funds.
Levy funds.
Yep.
not with the rest of
Because
the
we didn't transfer the carryover into the road special projects last year. Or
Okay.
this past year for the budget for next year. So we're using the carryover plus then the
So
535,000.
you had enough in your carryover last year to bring the mills down to 22 million, or 22 mills instead of taking the full 30.
And you guys did deduct or took some of the expense lines down.
Lowered some
Yep.
expenses.
Yep.
So,
Okay, hey,
anyway, it's highway distribution, there's
Yeah.
funds that come in from that.
Yep.
We get revenue from the townships, private individuals, and the taxes. That's gotta equal that.
I have a question. I guess for your guys' emergency fund, how much do you levy for that every year?
We don't levy for our emergency fund because we have such a carryover that we don't need to. Let me get that here.
Because I think from what I saw, you have like 154,000 and some change in there, right?
I think so.
And you don't levy anything for it.
Right.
So for Rod, for your question, this is Ben, but for your question on like when large flood comes, quite a bit of that will come through the emergency fund, and then and I know it takes time, but FEMA does reimburse up to a good percentage of that too. So that does come through. We utilize that. I'm in charge of that at Steel. We use that for absolutely everything when we do a declared emergency, when floods or whatever happens. And to your point, it is expensive. I mean, if you're going to redo a whole lot of stuff, like you got 97 again, that's a major disaster. And you're looking at, you're looking at every bit of funding and bank loans and whatever else to try and get you through. And that's because that'd be a huge problem. But I understand that.
Well, I've worked in a bunch of tornado cleanup and stuff, and where they've had FEMA's come in and they've had matching funding, and the project's been held up until the county has gotten with a city or whatever it's been. I guess it's always been a city, but before they could get people started on the cleanup, they had to get the money, to get the matching funding to go, because FEMA, anything you started and did before FEMA, the contracts were signed, it wasn't allocated to the disaster payment. So I just don't think we should spend ourselves poor to where we can't afford to have that kind of money.
Right.
So it looks like our emergency is $154,003.37.
Didn't we tap into that a little bit for
22-23 snow removal?
No, I thought it was this last budget. Maybe we brought it from this one, or did we tap into COVID funds? The 30.
You didn't do
came from
can't
the
do anything
ARPA
with the
funds.
emergency fund. The emergency is for specific things. You cannot.
That's what I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, we
I
didn't-
wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we don't tap
Because I know
into-
we moved. It must have been off.
That's in the general reserve fund.
Oh, that's a general reserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I
like
see
our-
what you're
yeah.
saying now. Okay.
Yeah. So you have to have so much in an actual emergency levy.
Okay. I see what you're saying now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So far, the biggest areas is technology, security technology. We got road. I'd like to move on to some other things, and then Emily walks out.
I see what,
I would,
Go on.
if I could, just another thing to kind of consider is, in the last few commissioner meetings, I've been having issues with my recorder stopping. It's just a wish list, kind of just a thing to kind of let you guys know. I do need to do some kind of upgrade on that. Whether that means that we're going to upgrade the whole system. We do have a lot of people hopping on Zoom, and then next year, starting in your first meeting in January, I am going to start doing the live streaming of the commissioner meetings. So to get like a new audio system for the room would be beneficial, but that's just another thing to kind of consider with these funds. And
How much is the new
And-
audio system?
well, she's got 24,000 on the list here, 24,863.
Yeah, Samantha asked me to get a couple prices on
Correct.
it. I split it up in two different groups. I did an audio system upgrade and then a video system upgrade too.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going on. So the audio system is at 24,863. So that would put new tabletop mics on everyone's desk. The Raceway, new amplifiers, new speakers for all that, new control system. Then the video system, we currently have, I think we've already had some problems with not being able to connect to some specific meetings because of encryption. So this one can't or wasn't being able to upgrade. Polycom no longer supports it. So that video system is an add-on to the audio system to integrate the audio and video together as one for that then. So there'll be a new camera for Zoom calls and all that for it. So and that was at 11,048.
So 36,000.
Total. 36, yeah.
36,000 gives you a whole new system. I do
What-
support that, because
I agree
even when
too.
I've listened back on the recordings,
It's bad.
it's hard, and I can hear shuffling of papers, and I can hear tapping on the tables, and then when I do zoom in for the meetings, I don't always hear everybody in here.
Especially if somebody's back in the corner, or like Josh speaks really softly, Sorry, Josh, but just what it is, you know.
You're right. I mumble. I am horrible at it. So you are right.
I'm just, what do you have over in Steele County, Ben?
Whatever Travis did.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Works good?
And how's that work?
It's fantastic. We went from
Like this?
no, we went from, it's a, oh God, what was it? We had wireless mics. So Steele County passed a measure, the citizens of Steele County passed a measure.
That's right, remember that.
Back in 22, I think it was, where every commission
Yep.
meeting had to be recorded, live streamed, and then put on the website the same day.
Yep.
Nice.
So that was a measure that the citizens had passed, so we are required by them to do all that stuff. So we had to, we started with wireless mics, and we were having so many problems with wireless mics and getting just, it was, you could hear some things, you couldn't hear some things, you know. We finally went to these stand mics, I think that Travis was talking about. And it's, I mean, the way we tested them and whatever else, I can sit here and lean back, the mic can be right where this nameplate is, and you can hear me perfectly, and then you cannot hear Kelly when she's trying to talk to me. So
Is it the same mic system we have in the courthouse?
Yes.
Or the courtroom?
Courtroom, so we went with the same
Okay.
microphones the court utilizes.
Because I know they-
So when we were doing our meetings in there, and you guys each had your mic in front of you, that's basically what it would be like.
it's fantastic. So like Josh, if you're talking, you wouldn't be able to hear what Wayne's telling you. But if Wayne just moves forward a little bit, you'll be able to hear Wayne then too. So it's a nice
sit
system.
there and lean up to it.
You don't have to do that. You can sit back and so that's the nice part about what Travis did with us is that we have guys that do that they're like this the whole time, and they're clicking pens or they're talking or they're back here doing something. So we set that range so that we can hear that everything. And then the guys that are up close that are doing this, we can hear that, but it's on a lower scale, so you're not blowing somebody out if you're leaning forward.
So it's like an audio, a self-adjusting type of deal.
Yeah, so the amplifier that actually picks up the mics will do an auto adjustment for every mic. The mics themselves, we get specific cones, microphone cones for them that are very tight. They're called low angle on them.
Okay.
So they don't pick up side stuff, they pick up directly in front of them. So, and then like, when you have people presenting, we'll have a microphone up here for presenters too. So you have pickup for them as well too. So.
Are these the type that you can tap the button to turn them off as well?
So those are programmable. So you can program them so that button can function as always on, always off, or tap to mute, tap to unmute kind of thing. So that's really up to you guys. That's how we want, and we can change that at any time. So
and how we do it is because of how the measure passes that they want to hear everything that's in the room. So those mics are always on.
Yeah.
And they have to physically push the button and hold it to mute it. As soon as they let go of it, then it turns back on.
Oh, so you can mute if you need to.
That's how they are in the courtroom. They're always on unless you need them off and you have to hold it to.
And it's
Okay.
a hold mute. I like that.
And then also on this spreadsheet, if you look down, it says commissioner tablets. During budget season, I did kind of bring that up. But it would be each of you would have a tablet in front of you instead of me printing these packets. It would all be on your tablet. And Travis went and added that one page. I could just go and click it to all of your guys' tablets and it would come up. I would be able to, when we're doing budget discussion, you guys would each be able to see the budget. I can make some changes and then you guys would all see those things. Just another thing is to explain what these things are on the list. If you were doing the whole thing.
Good point with that too is if somebody isn't here, like
They could see it.
For Rod right now.
Rod's
he's not
tough for
here.
Rod right
If
now.
he had his tablet with him, he could view the
He
same
would still
things
see it.
that
See it
you're
all.
looking at.
And they're all encrypted, and it's also, it's not, your confidentiality is not being breached anywhere.
Right.
yeah, we have with our system here, we have the ability to do mobile management. So say something happened, your tablet did get stolen, you would notify me. I would do a remote erase of that tablet and lock it out so it couldn't be used anymore.
So right now, Rod in the road right now could look at.
He would be able to see
what we're talking about. Hear that, Rod?
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. I definitely see the benefit to this, with being like me being gone, with me trying like when Josh just spoke there, I couldn't hear, really
Yeah.
tried,
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, Rod. I tried to speak clearly
No.
and I apologize. So.
No, it's fine. I mean, but it just, so no,
But I don't
that's-
really
and
want to
then-
start live streaming these and then have this poor quality. Like if we're
Correct.
live
I see
streaming,
your
I want
point, Sam.
everybody to be able to
Yeah.
hear
No,
everything and stuff. So.
Yeah.
So
No,
the
I-
$40,000 then for the commissioner system.
Basically, it'd basically be an audio and video upgrade.
How much were those
Yep.
tablets?
Is 4,000.
4,160.
I see only 4 though. There's
No,
5.
nope, that's on the priority list. It's a priority 4.
Priority 4.
Oh, sorry.
We're all like,
oh,
we're gonna put that to priority
never
one.
mind. Okay, sorry. I was just looking
No,
at
you're
that.
good.
Okay.
And those tablets have the ability to have broadband. So for
Rod.
Rod, who was on the road a lot, we would actually enable Verizon broadband on that. We have account for the government account for that. Then
Okay.
and
He could
would
just
have-
zoom right from his iPad.
He would actually be able to do Zoom from
Right.
the iPad if he wanted to.
That's
look at any
awesome.
Products.
That's awesome.
Anything you're on there, is he accesses email.
And you would probably be able to mount it right in your semi then, Rod, too, and it'd be
Well-
easier with your driving and everything else.
So we could.
Right.
order
See, I've got an
something.
I've already carry an iPod with me, so that would be good.
Bluetooth is
Yeah.
Bluetooth or whatever.
Okay.
He's gonna have like his phone going off, his tablet going off. He's gonna have to just pull over just for the meeting.
That's right.
Right. Right.
So, what's the total price if we do everything?
I'm gonna say 40,000 for the upgrade of the
Of the
commissioner
commissioners.
system, because it's almost 25,000 for the recording system, 11,000 for the video, and then another 4,000 for the tablets. So I just rounded up to 40.
And yeah, that number's really internally for you guys to keep track of stuff. You know.
Just to kind of roll.
Yeah. Okay.
How about I'll make a motion on that because to me that's a pretty big priority and sounds like everyone's for that.
Okay.
Would we?
Which fund?
No, I just wonder if we're allocating that, can we start that project?
Yes.
Because I mean, to start that, you know, if I'm going to start live streaming coming January, if we could get that project kind of
Going.
Yep.
I'm not saying that that's a
You're
priority
not gonna be
over
paid.
something else, but I'm just,
I think that's where that
Yeah.
conversation, what I kind of mentioned earlier was an actually spend category part of it, you know, and then we're going to obligate these funds for this, hoping that we get it,
right.
understanding that there might
And
be other
maybe
things,
there's some
but
kind of
maybe
grant when
actually
you,
spend it.
if we do the other one, we can apply with, or that security grant. I wonder. If
Yeah, for
there's
the
one-
door access control system, we definitely want to wait on that as far as seeing what our court facility grant does before we make actual any spending on
But I
it.
mean, what I'm saying is this, like, I wonder if some of that can be worked in with that grant or not. Is that not part
The
of it?
audio system here?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't, not with the courtroom facility grant, but I'm not sure the DES side of it.
No.
I would probably say no to that one, but
So you're making a motion to, are we making motions on this?
Or do you want to,
I guess
I think that's a good project to start right
It is,
now,
yeah.
right away, and to use the ARPA funds
because it's like,
to
it's basically what I'm seeing here is this is the reason why I actually want to make this motion for the simple fact that this is something that needs to be done and upgraded because it's obviously causing issues and we need to fix these issues.
Okay. So clarify your motion.
I make the motion for 40,000. What is the full numbers, Steph?
Oh, I just said a rounded 40,000.
Okay, 40,000 for the cameras, the tablets,
Recording system.
and the recording system for the commissioner meetings to come out of. We could probably do the ARPA funds.
I'll second.
right, Sam?
The COVID ARPA funds.
Oh, COVID funds.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Edlin's got a motion by second. Oh, Edlin. Any discussion? Any discussion, guys? One more time. Any discussion? And we have to have a voice vote because it's money. So anyway, Avriel,
Aye.
Ellison, aye. Oh, sorry. Thorne,
Aye.
Edlin,
Aye.
and Trumby votes aye. Motion carried.
Hey, you have the little
Okay,
spreadsheet
one done.
so we know where we're at.
So, Travis, is there any way possible you can get that stuff
If it's in stock, I can.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know the current stock, but I will do that.
That's
this
fine. Well, I mean,
afternoon.
just get it here as soon as possible.
Yeah,
Get it
and
set up.
if, you know, whatever we can do to help Samantha with her live stream as much as we can, we'll get that over.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a problem. I know it before. People are not happy.
Well, now it cuts off, so I've even lost part of our
Time.
meetings, which is,
Okay, I suppose it's maybe too late, but do you need a new recorder for
no,
that?
this
So
whole
that includes
system.
that too. So
That
we have
includes-
a new
we'll get rid of this.
recorder that-
Okay,
Just go
so
through
it'll
the-
automatically be recorded into our system?
Yeah, so Samantha will have a little device on her desk there that she would start and stop the recording.
Okay.
The recorder in the back here actually has dual recording functionality because it's intended for.
I kind of
audio
figured
system.
that, but I didn't know if you needed a separate recorder for a backup or something like that.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't know how much Samantha wants to be. You know, you would still have the issue of a bad recording for that. We've got 2 of those over in Steele County. They've worked flawlessly. It'll
So
be the same recorder for the sheriff's interview room.
Should we
for
maybe
that.
just keep using this one, and maybe when it does fully kaput, we could look into a different one? But I just honestly, if we have some kind of secondary backup, case something cups out, something drops, whatever else, lose power, you know, we have
You
some
have the
Those are
backup.
pretty inexpensive. I would say
Yeah.
we can get a new one of those probably within that 40,000 and not even
Okay.
worry about it. Yeah,
Probably.
Really? Gee.
There's no for sure.
There's a question.
Right,
We could be able to get a.
I just want to make sure.
on Amazon.
Anyway.
Yes, that won't be a problem.
Because I
Anyway.
get people telling me all the time, I listen to YouTube videos, I listen to recordings. Well, if something cuts out here, we have a type of backup that we can still upload.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Amber, you have the floor on this.
Sheriff's vehicle.
Yeah, let's talk about
The
this.
three-quarter ton was not reasonable because it would cost way too much because we'd have to customize it. They don't make a police one.
They don't.
So the half-ton
Bummer.
Ram Pursuit is the way to go.
Oh,
Okay.
Same
Okay.
price as it was before.
Okay.
And just, if we're allocating, I will be looking for a new vehicle next year too, because the other one already has 100,000 on it.
The first
And it's
Durango
a
we got.
2020, so
Yeah, the first one we
it'll
got.
be ready to go.
For 2026, you mean? Okay.
What motor's in that pickup?
I can go get the sheet. I don't know right now.
Okay.
The reason why I'm kind of curious because they came out with a new motor, and I wonder if that includes that new motor or not.
But it's their police
I would
vehicle,
guess
so
so.
I don't have a choice.
Because I know they've just had issues with the Hemis. I mean, we just had issues
It's
with
not
that.
the Hemi.
It's not? Okay,
that
it's probably the new
6
straight
cylinder
6. So,
So you're 5'3".
I don't know.
if it's a Ram, they came out with a new straight 6,
Oh.
turbocharged.
Oh, yeah.
It's supposed to be a really good motor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would rather have that over the Hemi, that's why. Because something like that's better, and then they just had so many cam issues with the Hemis that it would be nice to get away from that and have something that, you know, when we do get higher miles on this, we have less issues. You know, especially if we're gonna allocate, if some of the stuff we get allocated to the road department, they don't have issues either.
So basically, we have 65,000 into your budget, right? Then we have to add another 30,000 to make it work. Amber, is that correct? To get everything you want for your vehicle?
A total of 98,000.
Yeah, correct.
So
Total.
33,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it offers the 3.6 Pentastar or the 3.0 Hurricane. The Hurricane's a new motor that's supposed to be pretty good.
Gotta have the boy read it because they understand it.
Got the Hurricane.
All you care goes, it goes.
Hemi, Hurricane.
All you care is it goes fast. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
Goes
It
fast.
starts and it
Goes
gets us
fast.
there.
Go ahead, Rod.
That 98,000, then that's fully equipped. That's lettered and light bar and everything.
Everything.
That's ready. Okay.
Yes.
Turnkey, go
Yes.
pick up criminals.
When you're buying a new vehicle like that, Amber, is that something that we'd be smart to buy any kind of an extended warranty on?
Can you buy
You know,
a
that's-
warranty on a vehicle like
I'm not
that?
sure if police.
You know, maybe not. Maybe they don't even offer it for a cop vehicle. I don't know, but I'm just wondering if it.
I wonder if they
for
don't
some-
just because, and I'm not
It's
saying
a
you guys
police-
do it, they see
Police
a lot more
interceptor.
abuse and wear and tear, so I wonder if
A
they.
lot of idle time is what is a big one for police vehicles.
Police packages generally don't, just from my knowledge of it, police packages generally don't, but they still do offer that 100,000 powertrain you know, all that other stuff. That's usually pretty normal with the vehicle, but the police package itself doesn't usually offer a whole lot of extended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Purposely.
Yeah.
Sam, what did we take out for vehicle this year? Was it the 30? Or was it 25? Because next year, or whatever we get our next one, if we go with Durango, it'll
think
be
we did 20.
significantly cheaper because we don't need the.
Correct.
Are you talking about
cameras
the
and
2025
taser.
budget?
Huh?
Are you talking about the 2025 budget? Or how much did we spend?
No, how much did we
Yeah, let's
put
do it.
in?
Okay, let's look here.
You're wondering if we have-
Oh,
I wonder if it's not 25,000.
25,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, because
25?
my first year last year was 10, then we bumped it up
Yep.
to 25, and
Yep.
then I think we just kept it as another carryover, but I could be wrong. But if we have 65,000 in there, that sounds right.
We have
Yeah, could put another
65,000.
25,000 into it this year, or this in July.
You have 65,000.
Correct, total.
But did we allocate 25,000 to that for this next budget? That's what she wants to know. How much did
Oh,
we?
for next,
Yeah, how
Can
much
we-
are we gonna
how much-
allocate
Oh,
next
for
year for the
26.
budget?
Yeah.
Did we allocate in this budget for next year for a vehicle?
Yes.
How much?
So we'll
30,000.
allocate 20
So
or
then
25 or
we would only
30.
need 31.5 for another vehicle.
So in full,
Okay.
you have 65,000 in that fund.
Starting January 1.
Just, yep.
So that 65,000, you need another 30 to hit, or 30,000 to make your 90 some thousand.
Yes.
But you were asking about,
for,
Not different.
different
The
Can we put-
2020 is, should be on its way out next year.
could we put
and that would be
more money into, for the 2026?
6 budget.
If we could allocate some of this for 2026? Is that for the Durango?
Because that is
So you would
Or
like,
you would have to budget up the full,
100,000.
starting, in
Otherwise-
next year's budget
Budget.
for the 2026. You would
Six.
have to budget that entire thing.
that entire thing plus
Yeah.
some to, for the next year carryover. So you had to rather purchase it plus the additional, that needs to go into the savings part so that we have another savings the next year to buy. Is
So-
it the rotation every 2 years or every third
How-
year?
You guys
Okay.
don't have a rotation yet.
No, we used to.
But
Should be every other year. Because then that's, yeah.
yeah, so to kind
Vehicles
of
used
get
to be a lot
back,
cheaper though too.
so to get it back in would be
That's the
65,000
problem. It's
for
just
next
they
year.
keep going up.
And then if you're gonna
It's hard
budget for
a
that for the
small
next
county to
year, you would budget the
for
full.
something like that every other year.
And then it would start the savings account the next
This
year.
includes
Okay.
cameras on in-vehicle
So do we
cameras,
need-
which
I see
we
your
will
point.
get for the next vehicle, we won't have.
So
to
you would
purchase
need
that
the
'cause that's included
30,000.
in that.
Plus
So that will
65.
reduce a little bit,
Yeah.
but then it'll go up again. as long as we get another
I would
contract
say
for,
plus
cameras in the future, so just to be aware of it.
half of what you want to spend next year.
As long as she works
Because then
in
you would
her
just
budget.
budget half like we have been.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd be able to buy it in
27.
20,
Well, she wants to go.
She wants to buy it in
26, so she's moving a year ahead of time, that's what you're doing.
Because they skipped a year for
Yeah.
buying vehicles, so now we got 2
Yeah,
vehicles
because-
that are like due as
Yeah,
of every
that's-
other.
So you're-
Otherwise, yeah, we'll
every
be
other.
back in our same position of this
Right.
was from this was
So if we buy a vehicle this year, buy one next year, and then we don't have to buy one again until 28, 27. And then, so 27 and then
That would- yeah, 'cause
29,
the other
and,
one's at 22, so that would be perfect. That'd
okay.
be 5 years.
So what do you need for the pickup? 30,
30 for the pickup.
30,000? 33 for the pickup.
and then
And
I would
then-
say half of what you want to spend at the next
is it
year, because then you'll
98
put the
total?
budget in 2025 for 2026. So then you would be able to buy it in 2026.
So then another 30,000 for,
No, we need another 60,000.
Yeah.
another 60,000 just for the Durango, to buy the Durango out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we'll put 30,000 in for the savings account for 27s.
Because basically we are,
Give or take inflation.
the 65 is coming off of the 2025 budget. So we'll use that full budget up for the police vehicle. So that means if she wants to buy another one turnkey, even if we allocate 30,000, we still have to come up with another
30,000. Okay.
Or 33, or how much are they, 65, you're thinking, depending on?
Without the cameras and stuff, it's 61.5 today. What it'll be in a year or two, whatever. Yeah.
I guess another way to look at it is if you use ARPA funds to pay for the 98,000 entirely, that doesn't touch your budget then for your savings. and that would just keep growing for the next year on. I mean, you're getting to the same point. You're partially funding, then funding it back up again to the same level.
Yeah.
But that way, you're not, like Amber said, you're not pushing that budget back into a debt. Losing all the savings and getting off of your schedule again. So.
Such a smart idea.
We're all trying to work.
So you would technically have to designate like 30 or
95,000.
well, even if we didn't do that, where we could carry everything over, we'd still have to designate 65-ish thousand off of the ARPA, because then for her 2026 budget, by the time we allocate those funds for our budget, we'll have that 30 on top of our budget. So we could take 30,000 off of ours and still do that, and then turn around, use that additional 65,000 off of the ARPA, and then by the time we redo our budget in 2026, we will have 60 or 65,000 in there. And maybe I'm just overthinking all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just like, it's like, okay, we can rob from, like you say, rob Peter, give to Paul, but I'm just like trying to not rob too much.
It gets you the same position. Yeah.
Can you allocate the 98,000 to the COVID fund now?
Yeah.
And worry a little bit more about it at the next meeting?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wouldn't that make sense?
It basically gets the same way, because you're saying either 30,000 and then 60 for rebuilding it. Well, that's you're saying.
But if we want to over budget for projects, it might be a decent way to say the 98,000 now that we'll apply for.
Yeah, and keep that project in there too. So say you do have some money and you needed 5,000 more for the vehicle, you could then reallocate that 5,000 next year or the year after into that then if needed, kind of thing. So
I think that would make
ridiculous
sense.
on $80,000 for a police vehicle. That's just crazy.
I know. That's the whole package. Though.
Yeah,
well, I understand that, but that's still.
The camera equipment's a big one, because you're also paying for the storage of the video. So it's not just the hardware; it's also the services that come with that vehicle too. So the body cam and the in-vehicle camera, that price includes the contract for storing that and then having access to it as well. So the next vehicle after that one, basically we get 2 vehicles per contract license for the cameras. So you basically have a break, and then you have to then recontract up again. So.
So are we looking for a motion to use 95,000 of the ARPA funds to go towards 98?
I'll keep you on your toes, Stephanie.
I want, we still got door fobs and stuff doors and security cameras still too, so.
So where we at right now,
just worried
money wise? That's my question. Where we
Between
at?
the two of them. I mean, we got one and then we got the other. Because we got the COVID. and then
We already
got
spent
the-
40,000 already.
Well, actually, I think we should, okay, let me take that back.
Yeah, you follow
I
what I'm
think yes, I'm with you guys. The 98,000
I can't see it.
for
There we go.
the,
Finally.
there, make it a little bit there and there. 98,000 for the vehicle right now, because, and then still put in for the camera and fob system, because our hope is to have enough grant to cover majority of that.
Can
and
you
we'll
put that
still be
in
able
there,
to-
say 98,000 right there, and then put down the security, courthouse security for,
So
What we
that's
got left?
68.
That's the question.
Well,
Go
can we
ahead,
get
Rod.
20? Can we get at least 20,000 down to the county for the blade, so they can have a blade that runs both ways, so they don't have to circle?
He's got money in his budget right now for it.
Well, I'm
That's
with.
what I feel.
Well, I'm with Rod.
I'm a
on
little
that
bit
one.
with Rod on that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
sorry.
I know, but. I mean,
He's got money though.
I know, but
you still got. But because you're not getting as much next year as you're getting, right? So I think that's what he's worried about is he's not getting as much as he usually needs next year, so he might have to carry over some of those funds and reallocate that for the roads.
But that's
If I'm going to be honest, I think we should, instead of putting.
Yeah, that's
Go ahead.
because it wasn't spent.
That's because you have a savings account. So what you guys wound up doing last year was that in order to lessen the mill burden on the taxpayer.
When he's got 50-year-old belly dumps down there, I think we could be using our money a lot wiser.
And
Well,
what
then
in
that-
security?
Last year, they put it back into the budget to lessen,
Can you repeat that, Ben?
yeah, Ben, repeat that.
So the reason why Wayne's got less mills this year is because,
Mhm.
or for next year, is because you guys used the current revenue or the current money that you have to lessen the need of what you would normally need to the taxpayers. So that's why instead of 30 mills next year, Wayne's only getting the 22
22.
mills because there's funding available in that savings account. So he will be spending some of that. My understanding of it, he will be spending probably some of that next year because that's what offset your guys' burden to the taxpayers, if that makes sense. So that's usually how government finance works.
Instead of taking the full 30 mil,
Instead of
we're
taking the
taking
full 30
22 because we have some of that savings money to help
In
his
20
budget.
in 2025, he'll have a reserve of $1,095,655.44. So his
Still spent.
overall budget is 2.3 million.
Okay. Okay.
But
I'm good with the blade in there too. I mean, I don't care, but I was just saying that he does currently have funds, but
But
put the
My-
blade on
Go-
there too.
Go ahead, Rod.
my thing is, we're spending money to, when we got this prairie dog funds, is putting, I guess, where do you, I mean, everybody's got different opinions to what's valuable and what we need. But when we're replacing vehicles because they're worn out, we all agree on that. Well, where does it come like down there with, belly dumps and, things of that nature when, they're 50-year-old trailers. I mean, they're not all, but the one is.
Yeah, I
and,
know.
I just think that when we have this kind of money that we don't have to, that we could definitely use. And we're not, I don't think anybody's expecting to go buy brand new belly dumps because they're so expensive. But I certainly think we could find used ones that would be better.
Well, that's how much is a used belly dump?
And that's where that $1 million is. 1.4
We do have that other
million.
we do have that other 100,000 too
Why haven't they upgraded them?
for the ARPA as well.
Long story.
Right. But,
Anyway.
so with it,
That's the bottom numbers. Where we at? How much we got left?
actually we're
Over allocated 133.
over allocated 133.
Which is, we do want to over allocate. I'm saying
Yep.
is we're hoping to get some grant money to offset some of these, so.
I like that list.
What's,
Okay, so
about 55,000, potentially if they approve it.
We could get from the court.
So is the courthouse stuff in there? I don't see.
No.
No.
Well, it is.
What-
It is, but
The total amount is not the money, not the
Yeah.
grant money.
yeah,
Yeah, so potentially this could reduce by 57,000 if the grant goes through from court.
And we still have
And
another
depending if DES
100,000.
does put in
Don't
grants
we?
for doors.
yeah, we do have that extra 100 for that LA.
the other one, yeah, we haven't done anything with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this list.
Do you think we should over allocate any more, I guess, or?
Do you want higher than that? Do you want to have
I think Jamie's recommendation earlier was double.
Double it?
So you had, I think a good project list internally to have moving forward is something important. And I say good, I mean these are projects that we are wanting to do at some point in the next couple of years.
Okay.
Couple meaning 2, 3, up to 5, right? We want to do these projects, but it's going to really depend on funding and what we get and whatnot. And I really think that if you are considering doing a doubling type of thing, keeping that in mind. That's my recommendation. Keeping in mind that these projects aren't just off the wall projects. These are projects that you guys actually want to do in the next several years, somehow, some way, shape, or form.
Correct.
And if we don't somehow do them, it's not going to hurt us as long as we get these funds already spent. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and that comes back to that prioritization. I really think you should prioritize like the technology upgrades you for here. You said we for sure want to do this project, right? So that's a yes. We're going to get that project done. That money is already 100% spent, right? So these other projects, you know, coming up with that priority list, once you get them on here, then you go back and you prioritize them. We for sure want to do A, B, and C. We want to wait on D because of grant money or that we can possibly get or whatever. You know, E and F are this would be great if we could do this, but not 100%. You know, we'll go down the line.
Rod, how much is a belly dump off the top of your head? Do you know? Because we can at least put it on the list.
Right. I'm guessing, you know, I would say you're probably in that $60,000 range for a used one.
Can we put equipment then? Can we put?
What we could do is that road, we could bump that up to 80,000 and just put that
Well, let's keep that
both for
20
road equipment.
Let's keep that 20 separate because I think we want to prioritize that 20,000 now.
Okay. I see
And then
what
we'll
you're
do
saying.
additional 60 for additional equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Sam said it too. You also do have that 100,000 in the LATCF funds, and those don't have requirements. So what a lot of counties did, and we did it too, over in Steele, and Trail did the same thing. They just said, road department, that's your money for whatever you feel the best use is for.
And there's no time limit on
And
that
there's no
one.
time limit, there's no requirements, there's no reporting stuff, so that is another thing to help. The reason why we did it that way was to help offset this discussion, basically, of ARPA funds, of, okay, well, everyone's gonna come to you and they're gonna say, we want this, we want this, we want this, you know, and you're in the back of your head going, well, yeah, those are awesome and those would be great, but how the hell do you fund $400,000 worth of projects when you only have $200,000, you know what I mean? So what a lot of counties said was, okay, this was additional funds that came in, has no requirements on it, no reporting stuff, whatever. We're just going to give that to a specific department that has those most needs to be able to use those funds for whatever they see fit. So that is an option as well. And completely up to you guys, but that's another option for you guys, is that there is $100,000 in those LATCF funds that if you did decide you wanted to give Wayne $100,000, not Wayne personally, but the road department, right? If you wanted to push that $100,000 to the road department and say, hey, whatever you feel is needed, you know,
Get your belly dump
you
and
can
your
do a belly
blade.
dump, you can do a blade, you can do a lot of that other stuff too. So there is additional. You have $100,000 on top of the ARPA stuff. I know the discussion is ARPA, but when you're thinking about all of the money, there is that money available that can be used for some of those projects as well, if you just so decided. You could also say that's Amber's. You could say that's Kelly's. You could say, Travis, here's $100,000, fix our crap. I mean, you could do whatever you want, really.
Right.
Okay. What about last thing? You have Dalton's vest in here, Amber.
Got it. No, we got it.
Okay, it's in the system. Okay.
Done.
What about the repeaters? I see.
So we did one of them.
The sheriff's department repeater you already did.
Did correct.
Yep.
Want the road in Wayne?
That was another $5,000 for another repeater, correct?
Yeah. Ours doesn't work down there at the shop. You gotta go to a doorway or window or make a cell phone call.
You could at least put it on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
That was 5,000, is that correct?
5,342.
5,400.
342.
Yeah, these are guys who are round numbers, I guess.
Yep.
We're routing them.
So we did the sheriff's because I know that's really
Priority.
important. You gotta have that. Because she's somebody calls her phone, like she's gotta be able to be in her office or whatever else. And there's that.
Okay, anything else on here? New laptops for 5. I think equipment like that needs to be on a rotation anyways, and it should be honestly in the budget. It's 2025, everything's electronic nowadays. Before you had a laptop for 10 years, now they're only good for like 3 or 5.
If you're lucky.
You know, with technology, yes, I have to rotate mine at work all the time, so I have to have a specific budget to be able to replace my computers and my electronic equipment every year.
So would that be a budget discussion though?
Yeah, that would be a budget
Instead of the
discussion
ARPA.
rather than
Yes, correct.
But if you don't have one right now, I mean, do we have?
I know we
it?
did hers.
We did one already.
Hers.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
also did the tax directors.
But
Correct.
not out of the ARPA funds. You did the tax structure with tax structure funds.
Correct. That's
Okay,
right.
what about Amberley's? Did you get a laptop?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Can
I
we
say
take that
that.
off our list?
Yeah. So my
Okay.
point.
And it's so wonderful.
I bet it is.
All right.
I mean, if you're over allocating, you know, we're trying to get back to a rotation schedule. You know, maybe we're $2,000 off for that rotation schedule instead of taxing it. You could take it off if it was available. You could put that on the lower priority.
Lower priority of
Maybe too, I know.
electronic
I know we kind of
upgrades.
cut your budget a little tight sometimes, but I wonder if that's something
Technology.
that we can't work in with the technology budget.
I think we can, and we're getting towards that. That's this year's budget. Or for 2025, we've started picking away at some of the servers, getting those on rotation for stuff, and then when we've discussed 2026. I think we can get that within that with you guys for stuff.
Okay. The finger card reader for 32,000. Wish list.
No.
Not a priority.
Yep, okay.
Anything?
I think we could do that internally with grant. Find something.
Yeah.
That'd be a great one for
Okay.
convenience, but.
We did, but that company went out of business. So we
Great.
did not actually spend any money. But yes, we did get.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Are we good with this list?
What's all on the list now?
Yeah, here.
Okay, so what you have right now
That's where
is
those tablets are gonna come in.
the commissioner audio video system for 40,000, sheriff's vehicle for 98, doors and
One question: how much of the 98 is coming out of the 207? Because how much do we have? We got 65 saved.
Not saving that for the.
so
No.
we have the whole 98 coming out of that 20.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So then we're going to carry it over for our next vehicle.
Yes. So we'll have another 65, and then in a savings, and then we'll
Okay.
do another one.
Okay. Sounds good.
The doors and videos for 182,539. Road department 20,000. Road department equipment for 60,000, and road department cell repeater for 5,400.
So
That would push us over our limit by 199,243.68.
and now we need to prioritize how much we're actually going to spend now out of it, because we're spending some now, like the commission for
Correct.
a dollar amount.
Yeah.
So we've got 206,000. Do you want to do some tallying? Can we do another? Everyone looked at you. Can we do another roll there?
Because we did,
Column?
we
We could sit there and say,
changed two of them. We did the 48,000 for Vanguard, and then we also did another 40 for the.
Yep, so that's up there. The
okay.
65,000 for CPT and the 48,492.50.
But what I'm saying, that's already versus the total amount. What do we have knocked off that we actually allocated?
Yep, so that's where we did that. So we had starting 353,851.58. So then we used
formulas.
we did Vanguard, we did CPT, and then we obligated to the 2025 budget. So then that got us down to the 207. And then that's where you guys started today. Yep.
And under pressure too. Impressive. Way to go, Excel spreadsheet man.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Well, is there any way we could do the 20,000 for the blade and get that ordered right away so they can use it yet this year?
That's what we're working on right now, is that priority list as to what's going to be
Right.
spent.
Right. That's what I heard. Yeah. So that's what I was wondering, if we could put that on the priority list so they can use it yet this year.
Okay, so Travis is making a spreadsheet for us so we can.
21. Excel doesn't allow you to put just an E. All right, so we allocated the comm video. CPT is allocated, right? Because that has to be spent.
Yep.
Correct.
And that's
The
That-
offset,
Yep, that's
in there
on
too.
Vanguard.
And then,
So we have 187.
okay, so of that,
187. That's with.
Oh,
full-
but I need to. That's full. That's a total here. So I need to remove. This is the actual balance, then, right? So you want to know the ending for that.
Yeah, with
Okay.
both that we have available.
Yeah,
out of
so
that.
then
okay,
we have
so
to
that number that we had in the end,
minus that.
yep.
So that's 166 remaining then. Currently from that 353.
Yep, 353, 851, 58 is how much we had as of end of November. And then we added Vanguard CPT and the budget in there.
And then you
Perfect.
got your commissioner videos.
And then
And
Amberly's
then-
vehicle and the blade would be,
So the
We
sheriff's
never
vehicle-
voted on that though. This is stuff that we voted on, I think.
yeah. Okay.
So is the sheriff vehicle for sure going to be allocated, or
That's the discussion.
just okay? That's discussion right now. Okay.
So we have everything that's been voted through, we still have a remainder of 166,695.
695.
Okay. Before we make any more decisions, can I make a motion for a 5 to 10 minute break?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
I didn't hear Josh.
I'm making a motion for a 5 to 10 minute break.
Break.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, second by Steph. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Should we, Rod, do you want me to send you a picture of the
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, Steph.
of the spreadsheet that we
Yeah.
got?
Do that.
Sure.
Then you can see it.
Do you want me to call you back after 5 minutes? Or when we
That'd be
restart?
great.
Okay.
Yep,
Thanks,
sounds
Rod.
great. Thank you. Yep,
Bye-bye.
bye.
You may.
So should they try to be obligating another
Better off the screen than TV though.
160,000?
Just give it to me. What the hell?
I mean, I just,
For overall, for
well, double the amount that,
that's what you were talking about, Jamie, wasn't it? You were thinking it'd be a good.
I don't know, I mean, I think,
If we put it on the list, it does not say we have to do it.
yeah, well, that's all I
Or
want.
you guys will have
If
to-
they can
yeah.
figure some, if they get, the rest of them can figure out something they want,
Yep.
why not put it on there?
The commission as a whole then can make a decision on that.
Yeah.
I guess, what other items do you think, Jamie, we could do? I know, is the shingles on this, these are 15-year shingles on this building. I think those are downgraded and were built. That's gonna be an expense to get replaced. The HVAC system for this room and the other rooms have never been finished. I don't know if that should come out of budget or if it's
Well,
a good
put
use
it
of
on-
ARPA funds, I guess.
Couldn't we put it on the COVID for the.
But that's all steps that you guys can discuss as a commission.
I'd put that money on there to finish it. And if you don't do it,
You don't, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, it would be,
The full amount.
to me, it makes sense to obligate, or to put it on your list there, and
Yeah.
Jamie, did
if you
you
get
apply
it, fine, and
last
if you
time for
don't,
this?
well, put it at the bottom of the list maybe, but.
Well, it also gives you guys a list of
No,
things
actually, we
that are-
did, we applied for
what's going on. in the
surveillance
community.
stuff, I think.
Travis, do you remember what was all in that grant too? Because you must have did numbers for them
For which grant?
when they applied for doors and all that jazz.
Oh, how much?
Was
What
that
was
shingles
all-
that they're looking for?
Oh,
You need Jamie?
No,
so we
we were
did,
doing security stuff, I think, for
No.
last Homeland Security grant.
yeah, so we got new network switches, approved for that grant. The
So-
doors got denied, I think.
Was that the cyber one?
Yeah.
So there's two Homeland Security grants. One's a cyber, one's like physical security stuff. And so the
Okay.
physical security stuff is the one in April. The cyber one was like September or October, I think, is when that came out.
Yeah.
So there's different avenues that you can run through it, and for instance, like for what we've done in Steel is we've pieced together every one because we've kept applying, and then it's like I've prioritized it. So these are the top 10 things that I want you to fund right now, 1 through 3. You know, and so that's the base stuff. That's the switches for downstairs for us for downstairs for the basement. That's the the infrastructure base that we need in order to expand the system.
Right.
And then as we expand the system, then it's okay, we're gonna add this door now, we're gonna add this door now, we're gonna add this door now, we're gonna add this door now. And there's,
Smart too,
yeah.
if you can. But like, that's my thing, it's like the sheriff's office, you're always gonna need vehicles. The road is always going to need things. Those things should be on your rotation, they should be on your budget. Things like this, like, hopefully is a one-time purchase. Hopefully your cameras and all this, I mean, you have your upgrades, but, you know, the thing is, like, security, roads, all that, it's all important.
Yeah.
It's all important.
That's
So
why,
it's like, you split in the middle, choose one, choose the other.
Take us some chocolate.
that's where something like this is hard to do, but
I thought about that too. I was like,
Do you need more sugar?
Yes, right. That's what I went for.
That guy. Whoa!
You think? Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, and then let's measure and stuff and see the depth and stuff and all that stuff. It will be so. Yep.
Interesting.
But yeah, and so I'm, that's the way I look at it, is that it's all important. You have to keep your employees safe, you have to keep officers safe, you gotta keep